Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Go. All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Town Board meeting to order for July 9th. If you'd all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would the clerk please call roll?
Supervisor Dwyer?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Here.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Schuback?
Here.
Councilman Manley is absent.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for the public hearing on June 25th relating to local law number 2 of 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for the public hearing held on June 25th relating to local law number 3 of 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for the public hearing held on Thursday, June 25th relating to local law number 4 of 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we accept the regular meeting minutes from June 25, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we pay all audited bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board's correspondence is listed as addendum number 1. Is there any discussion from the board on correspondence?
No.
No? Okay, we'll move right into reports of boards and department heads, beginning with Police Chief John Rader.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just a couple things to report tonight. Session 1 of the Junior Police Academy begins this coming Monday. This class currently has 10 recruits registered, and the second session has 25 recruits registered. This year marks our 9th and 10th sessions with nearly 240 10 to 15-year-olds attending overall. Our plans are being finalized for National Night Out on August 4th. In addition to this year's, we received notice this week from Senator Skoufis's office that we will receive another $10,000 grant for next year's event. This is the 4th consecutive year that he's provided funding for the National Night Out event. During the 4th of July weekend, we provided assistance to the Village of Greenwood Lake at their Independence Day Parade and the bed race that followed afterwards, as well as for the fireworks later that evening. There was a major storm event late Saturday afternoon causing flooding and other hazardous conditions over a 48-hour period of rain. We responded to a total of 135 calls during this time, with 36 of them being directly related to the storm. We want to recognize the response from our DPW, as well as the Village of Warwick, Orange County, and the state for the quick response in handling the many roads and the related storm conditions from it. We'll be beginning the next phase of our grant-funded renovations that are ongoing in the police station in the next 2 weeks. During this phase, our communications divisions will be temporarily moved and relocated to a different part of the station. We anticipate this to go on for 4 to 6 weeks and ask for patience during it. We have a plan in place to handle walk-ins from the public, but we have 4 to 6 weeks of a challenge down there. Worth it at the end, though.
Only 4 to 6 weeks? It hasn't been challenging?
Well, this will be the most challenging part, but yeah, it's challenging for sure. And then finally, over the last month, our detectives have held informational meetings with the Warwick Valley Senior Citizens Group and also the Warwick Golden Seniors Group. As become our tradition, we also provided barbecue lunch that was prepared by our officers. Preventing scams involving our senior citizens has been a top priority for the department. That's all I have, unless there's any questions from the board.
Any questions for the chief? I just want to commend the chief, who I know has personally taken a serious personal role in the demolition and construction downstairs, coming in on his and his wife's free time, personal time, to demo floors, paint, coordinate. You're working really hard, and I appreciate everything you're doing there to save taxpayer dollars.
Thank you.
Great
It's
job.
definitely a team effort, and I'm going to do a shout out to the DPW when it's all over, but it's a team effort. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people working hard, but you're running the ship and doing a great job.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, DPW Commissioner Astorino.
As Chief Rader pointed out, we had a considerable storm event for 2 days on the July 4th weekend. Proud to announce that a lot of our drainage held up really well. We had some trees down, wires down, some dangerous situations, and as always, working with the Town of Warwick PD, it makes it go seamlessly in all of these events. We are in our paving season. We paved Wheeler Road, finished paving Wheeler Road today. We're going to start Minturn tomorrow, and hopefully Monday, Tuesday, we'll be in Glenmere Home Sites. We did numerous new culvert pipes in Glenmere Home Sites, as we did on Minturn, so all our roads are ready for that. As we said, we had our biggest issue with the storm on washouts was Cascade Road. There was a couple of private roads. It seems to happen every time we get those extreme rains. Tree work, we're town-wide. We had some trees down. We cleaned them all up. Potholes were out with filling with hot mix. Road mowers are out daily. Road repair before Wheeler Road was paved, there was a very steep cutoff on the edge of the road. We brought some ditch dirt over and had that filled in. That shored up the whole road. Our vehicle maintenance and emergency repairs are ongoing, and with the parks, we're always mowing and maintaining. Questions, comments?
Any questions for Ben? Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
And we appreciate the DPW's hard work throughout the storm, and of course the police department as well. That was a rough one that happened to come in on the 4th of July, right as the Village of Greenwood Lake was kicking off, or hoping to kick off their fireworks, and it was quite an event across the entire town. It was pretty severe. Okay, Recreation Director Walter.
Thank you, Supervisor. So the pools have been very busy. Over the holiday weekend, we averaged 217 residents at the pools for the day. So it's been very, very busy for the lifeguards up there, and they're doing an amazing job for us. We also started swim lessons, and we also started the senior aquafit, which is really fun to watch the seniors exercising in the pool. Classes are going well, and the folks are really enjoying the new kiddie pool as well. For the rest of Mountain Lake Park, it continues to be very busy with all the summer camps going on. Pickleball courts are busy, especially in the morning hours when it's cooler. And then I did take a ride over to the Pine Island Park to see their summer rec program. And it looks like the kids are having a great time. They're playing tennis, basketball, soccer on the playground. They have lots of games and crafts set up in the shade. So Paulette's doing a great job over there for us. And then for the Longhouse Creek Trail, we have some news. The kiosks finally have their new signage up. So there's clear trail markings, there's rules of the trails, there's a welcome to Warwick sign, so they look really great. So thanks to Brian Torpy for his design team for the signs, and Anthony at DPW for making the signs look amazing. And that's it for my report.
Any questions for Sam? Great, thank you. Michael, would you like to report anything from? No? Okay. All right, we're going to move right into our town board reports, beginning with Councilman D'Angelo.
Okay, good evening. The shelter supplies are dangerously low due to the overwhelming number of kittens available and not yet available for adoption. Supplies that are needed as following: bleach, simple green cleaner, paper towels, paper plates, large and small, pate-style canned cat and kitten food, small and medium-sized ceramic cat food dishes, equine pine bedding for litter. Just as a reminder, the spay-neuter certificates are available for purchase for cats of Warwick residents only at the Warwick Valley Humane Society for only $25, which covers the cost of surgery, rabies vaccination, antibiotic injection, and ear tip for feral cats at the Animal Rights Alliance stationary and mobile clinics. This SNR program is subsidized by the Town of Warwick, for which we are most grateful. Call the shelter for an appointment to purchase with cash only. If you feed a cat, please fix that cat or cats. Controlling the cat population and shelter overcrowding is a community effort. They also asked, please report any sick or injured animal to the shelter to prevent fly strike, which quickly turns into maggots and a poor prognosis for that animal. Sick kittens are often abandoned by their parent and need immediate medical intervention. Animals require shade and clean water available at all times during the summer months. Be especially mindful of dogs with short snouts on high heat days, and it is against the law to leave an animal in a vehicle in extreme weather, whether hot or cold. That's all we have for the Humane Society. With a friendly visitor program for the month of June, the number of neighbors assisted was 37. The total number of volunteers assisting those neighbors was 26. The total number of services provided by those 26 volunteers was 229. Anyway, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Kohler, your report, please.
Thank you. Last Saturday, the 4th of July parade at Greenwood Lake, attended with our town historian, Sue Gardner. I'd like once again to commend her for all the work that she did on raising awareness of the importance of the town of Warwick and the Revolutionary War. And I would like just can't thank her enough for her work and the programs that she set up and the awareness that she raised for that. It turned out to be a very good summer and very, hopefully, educational for some people. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Councilman Schuback, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Being that the farming area right now is in full swing, and right now there are 2 different drones in the valley that guys are spraying with. So if you see something hovering across the fields, that's what it is. They're spraying the crops. That's all I have to say.
Wow, okay, thank you.
So there's no more crop dusters anymore?
No more crop dusters. There's 2 drones I know of, maybe a 3rd one coming,
That's incredible. How much could a drone possibly hold?
They don't hold a lot of water, but they're very quick, and they land right at the end of the field and load up and go again. And it's all GPS, so they just move. They could do, quite a bit of acres in a day. They probably do a couple hundred acres a day.
That's pretty fascinating. Town Clerk Astorino will provide Councilman Mattingly's report and the clerk report.
Okay, the clerk's report, I collected the fees for June were $121,975.40. A lot of that is coming from Mountain Lake Park. And the fees paid out were $2,724.71. And you could still get your pool passes. Just come to my office. We have them ready to go. And for Councilman Mattingly, let's see what he has. Okay, he says the Village of Warwick will hold the 32nd Annual Countryside Garden Tour Saturday, July 11th from 9 to 4. Experience Warwick in full bloom. The 32nd Annual Countryside Garden Self-Guided Tour invites you to explore a 7 unique selection of private gardens. Purchase your tickets at Railroad Green from 8:45 to 2 p.m. The Summerfest. The Warwick Merchants Collective presents Summerfest, featuring vendors, sales, and unique finds along Main Street, Railroad Avenue, Saturday, July 11th from 10 to 5 p.m. A ribbon cutting will be taking place at Fetty Ford on July 15th at 11 a.m. Winslow Therapeutic Center golf outing sponsorship now open Tuesday, September 22nd at West Hills Country Club. Various sponsorship are now available there. Proceeds benefit the programs and participants of Winslow Therapeutic Center. The Florida Chamber of Commerce is having a mixer on July 21st at 6:30 p.m. at the El Azteca Restaurant in Florida. Outside. All right. They're also having an evening with Jimmy Stir. Spend the evening around the pool with Jimmy. It's an enjoyable evening where questions are asked to Jimmy and you just may learn things that you didn't know about him, his life and his career. Tickets are $35 and you can call 845-258-9310. The Florida Fun Fest is Sunday, August 9th at 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. on North Main Street in the Village of Florida. This is also ribbon cutting in Greenwood Lake. Supply True Values already happened, okay. Oh, that's June. Okay, Pine Island Chamber of Commerce. They are having a meeting on Tuesday, July 22nd at the Pine Island Firehouse, and they are also, Pine Island Summer Social will be Tuesday, August 11th at 6 p.m. until sundown at the Glenwood Green next to Pine Island Park. The 3 winners of the Pine Island Scholarship will be honored. You can visit pineisland.com/events for a full list of community and member events this month. And that's it. Pine Island Pumpkin Fest is scheduled for Columbus Day, Monday, October 12th. Details to follow. That's all.
And I would just like to congratulate Councilman Schuback for being named the 2026 Citizen of the Year for the Florida Fun Fest. So congratulations, Kevin.
Well, thank you very much.
Well done. He'll be honored, I imagine, at the Fun Fest?
They said around 3 o'clock on the Fun Fest.
Okay, great. All right. The Orange County Legislature recently voted to cap the gasoline sales tax at $2 per gallon. While this measure is estimated to save average commuters roughly $20 per month, it is ultimately a tax shift. It removes a small burden from commuters, many of whom do not reside in Warwick or even Orange County, and shifts the burden directly onto local property taxpayers. For Warwick, that $20 individual savings for commuters translates to a loss of more than $35,000 in local sales tax revenue that would have gone directly toward funding our local roads and police services. This vote, while appearing noble on the surface, came just 2 months after a county distribution error that reduced sales tax revenue sharing to local towns and villages by 20%. To put that into perspective, Warwick's first quarter sales tax revenue, anticipated to be nearly $1 million, came in $200,000 short. Had the county resolved this sales tax distribution error before implementing the gas tax cap, our budget could have absorbed the hit. Instead, they compounded an already severe revenue loss for the town. Consequently, in light of this sharp reduction in anticipated county sales tax revenue, the town of Warwick has been forced to reduce our road paving budget this year by $200,000. If the county does not rectify the distribution issue, we will be forced to continue making necessary cuts to ensure local taxpayers are not left absorbing the impact of these errors. Unfortunately, as a direct result, local services will be compromised because of this. Many of you may have heard recent news regarding the world headquarters of the Jehovah's Witnesses, which has been located here in the town of Warwick for nearly a decade. They recently acquired a neighboring property, a data center facility originally owned by IBM and subsequently operated by Kyndryl. This parcel is currently valued on our tax rolls at approximately $54 million. Under New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 420A, properties used exclusively for religious purposes are eligible for a full exemption from property taxes. This particular parcel is Warwick's third largest property taxpayer, contributing roughly $100,000 annually in Warwick's tax base and approximately $400,000 in the Tuxedo Central School District. We fully recognize the magnitude of this situation, and we are committed to doing everything within our legal power to protect Warwick's tax base. The Jehovah's Witnesses are excellent neighbors who contribute to our local economy and consistently support our small businesses. However, the potential loss to our tax base is significant, and we're carefully weighing all available options to move forward. Unfortunately, our local legislative options are severely limited, as this specific property tax exemption is codified directly within the New York State Constitution. On a much brighter note, the town of Warwick is currently in negotiations to add more than 200 acres across 2 separate parcels into our PDR program. If these 2 acquisitions are finalized, combined with more than 600 acres currently approved and in processing, we could potentially increase our total preserved PDR land from 5,000 acres to more than 6,000 acres in just a year and a half. By design, the PDR program prevents dense residential and commercial development. This is a conscious visionary choice Warwick made long ago, and it has successfully protected the beautiful rural character our town is celebrated for. However, as leadership, we must also openly acknowledge the fiscal reality of conservation. Preventing development keeps these large parcels from expanding our future tax base. As we navigate the complex revenue challenges discussed tonight, we must ensure that our long-term preservation goals do not inadvertently place an undue financial squeeze on our current property taxpayers. The town board and I remain deeply committed to keeping municipal costs down while continuing to provide the high-quality services our residents expect and deserve. But just like you and your households, the cost of our everyday operations, from fuel to infrastructure materials, is not going down. Managing this balance between preserving our town's unique heritage and maintaining a stable, sustainable tax base requires tough, responsible choices, and it is a commitment we take seriously every single day. And that concludes my report. At this time, we'll open it to privilege of the floor on any agenda item. There will be another part later for public comment on any topic. Anyone wish to discuss an agenda item? Okay, if not, we'll move right into resolutions.
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Robert Sherman Jr. as a full-time DPW laborer effective July 15th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a memorandum of agreement with the Hudson Valley Greenway for the Town of Warwick Planning Grant for Wickham Woodlands.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Eugene Cummings as the lifeguard for the 2026 Mountain Lake Park pool at the rate of $16 per hour effective July 10th, 2026.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint the following resolution. Whereas the town of Warwick is committed to seeking funding opportunities that support and enhance community development, infrastructure, and municipal services. And whereas water quality improvement project grant is available through the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to provide financial assistance. And whereas the town of Warwick will request funding for upgrades to the Mountain Lake Park wastewater treatment plant for up to $10 million and providing a match of 25% up to $2.5 million to be provided by the town of Warwick. And whereas the town board of the town of Warwick has determined that applying for this grant is the best interest of the town of Warwick and its residents as it aligns with the town of Warwick's strategic goals and objectives. And now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Warwick hereby authorize and approve the submission of the water quality improvement project grant applicant to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the purpose of securing funding for the upgrades to the Mountain Lake Park wastewater treatment plant for the town of Warwick. And be it further resolved that the town of Warwick will request up to $10 million and provide a match of the 25% of the $2.5 million to be provided by the town of Warwick. And to be further resolved that the town supervisor, Jesse Dwyer, and the designees is authorized to execute any and all necessary document requests to submit of the grant application and to take all necessary actions to effectively the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the resolution shall take effect immediately on the 9th day of July, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the town of Warwick is committed to seeking funding opportunities that support and enhance community development, infrastructure, and municipal services, and whereas the water quality improvement project grant is available through New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to provide financial assistance, and whereas the town of Warwick will request funding for upgrades for the Wickham wastewater treatment plant for up to $10 million and providing a match of 25% up to $2,500,000 to be provided by the town of Warwick. And whereas the town board of the town of Warwick has determined that applying for this grant is in the best interest of the town of Warwick and its residents as it aligns with the town of Warwick's strategic goals and objectives. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board of the town of Warwick hereby authorizes and approves the submission of the water quality improvement project grant application to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the purpose of securing funding for upgrades of the Wickham wastewater treatment plant for the town of Warwick. And be it further resolved that the town of Warwick will request up to $10 million and provide a match of up to 25% to $2.5 million to be provided by the town of Warwick. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor, Jesse Dwyer, and his designee is authorized to execute any and all necessary documents related to the submission of the grant application and take all necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately on this 9th day of July, 2026.
Second.
So just a discussion point to mention to the public. This is the project where we were awarded $8 million from grant funding through WIA, which is New York State, and we were also awarded $8 million of interest-free financing for the remaining portion of the project. Total project cost $16 million. This is another grant opportunity that we're applying for and hoping to offset some of the other money that we would have to borrow to cover the other remaining $8 million. So we did apply for this last year. We were not awarded. We were awarded for the other component of this grant, but we're hoping to get some more grant money to cover the cost for this project. All in favor of this resolution?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt the following resolution, whereas the Town of Warwick is committed to seeking grant funding opportunities that support and enhance community development, infrastructure, and municipal services, and whereas the non-agricultural, non-point source planning and MS4 mapping grant is available through the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to provide financial assistance through the MS4 Stormwater Management Program planning category, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. On this, whereas the Town of Warwick will request funding for updates to their stormwater management plan for up to $50,000 and providing a match of 10%, up to $5,000 to be provided by the Town of Warwick. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Warwick has determined that applying for this grant is in the best interests of the Town of Warwick and its residents, as it aligns with the Town of Warwick's strategic goals and objectives, and now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Warwick hereby authorizes and approves the submission of non-agricultural, non-point source planning and MS4 mapping grant application to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the purpose of securing funding for updates to their stormwater management plan for the Town of Warwick, and be it further resolved that the Town of Warwick will request up to $50,000 and providing a match of 10% up to $5,000 to be provided by the town. And be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Jesse Dwyer, and his designee is authorized to execute any and all necessary documents related to the submission of the grant application and to take all necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately on this 9th day of July, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt the following resolution. Whereas Town of Warwick is committed to seeking funding opportunities and support and enhance community development, infrastructure, and municipal services, and whereas the non-agricultural, non-point source planning and MS4 mapping grant is available through the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to provide financial assistance for the completion of the basic MS4 mapping of up to $75,000 and providing a match of up to 10% up to $7,500 to be provided by the town. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Warwick has determined that applying for this grant is in the best interest of the village and its residents as it aligns with the town's strategic goals and objectives. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of the Town of Warwick hereby authorizes and approves the submission of the non-agricultural, non-point source planning and MS4 map grant application to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the completion of its basic MS4 mapping throughout the Town of Warwick. And be it further resolved that the Town of Warwick will request up to $75,000 and providing a match of 10% up to $7,500 to be provided by the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the town supervisor and his or her designee is authorized to execute any and all necessary documents related to submission of the grant application and take all necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this resolution. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately on this date, on this 9th day of July, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Timothy J. Vreeland as a full-time police officer with a rate of pay of $37.27 per hour, corresponding to step 1 of the collective bargaining agreement, effective July 25th, 2026, subject to Orange County approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Cole D. Lochavo as a full-time police officer with a pay rate of $37.27 per hour, corresponding to the step 1 of the collective bargaining agreement, effective August 8th, 2026, subject to Orange County approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to approve payment to Jose Rodriguez for painting and repairs at Pine Island Pavilion in the amount of $6,272.43.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I do have one more resolution. I make a motion to approve payment for emergency repairs and other repairs necessary to close out unfinished and damaged work from project scope previously awarded to Jory at Mountain Lake Park to Ground Control Excavating in the amount of $51,552.53.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, at this time, we'll open it up to privilege of the floor on any general topic. If you wouldn't mind coming to the podium, turning on the mic, and stating your name for the record.
Just press the button.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mary McCoskey, and I just get my glasses on. Okay. Supervisor Dwyer and town board members, we know our election procedure is very safe, and it's quite secure. But we're a little concerned because we've been following the attempts to interfere with the midterm elections in other areas. We expect there will be a large turnout in November everywhere, and as voters, we just want to make sure that anybody who is eligible to vote feels safe and secure and comfortable doing their civic duty. So we do not want to have ICE agents around polling stations, nor other groups of people in or near polling stations trying to intimidate voters. And we know there's a 100-foot, right, buffer zone. But even if you're at the edge of that, you know, for somebody to be there to intimidate someone is not, you know, that does not make you feel comfortable. So we would just like to know what you as our elected officials are thinking about doing to make sure our election is protected. Because being prepared for possible problems is certainly best rather than trying to respond to them in the moment. So could you explain to us if you've thought about this, or if you might consider thinking about what you might do in case of problems like this?
So the town of Warwick is lucky, in my mind, to be one of the early voting locations. It creates greater access to our residents to become an early voting center. There are only a handful throughout the county. It also creates an opportunity for residents of other towns to come vote here, even if they're not residents of Warwick. Most people don't realize that. And while they're here, some purchase gas and support our local businesses, and we encourage that. We support it. We want the greatest turnout possible in our elections, regardless of who someone may vote for. And in having those early voting locations, and also having our voting location right here at Town Hall, where I work every day, where the police chief works every day, we have, in at least my history, never seen any instances of voter suppression happening here on our property. We would take that extremely seriously if there were any attempts at voter suppression, regardless of who was doing it, what party they belong to, or what government they may belong to.
Sure.
We would not tolerate any form of voter suppression. We have not been contacted by ICE to do any work or to partner with them in any way. I don't believe they would have any interest in interfering with our local election. Here in Warwick, I can't speak for what might be happening across the country, but I can assure you that we're not just holding to the 100-foot buffer. We would not accept any interfering or disruption on town property, period. And that extends well beyond 100 feet.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because, you know, it could happen, and it could be just further away, as I say, from, you know, but around the edges or near the entryway. And I have heard of an episode that did happen in Greenwood Lake, as a matter of fact. But just wanted to make sure, and I know you all want to make the election very secure and have people comfortable. So I just wondered if there was any kind of a plan, or you would just kind of basically be ready to respond if there was any call.
We have a great plan. It's to not allow any disruption whatsoever on town property, period.
So, and I was a little confused about as I understand it, if there's any problem, the election officials are supposed to contact the Board of Elections. But I don't know what they do with that, in other words. So in other words, it would be better if there were a problem for somebody to contact you, the police department, the chief, right?
We have, so the benefit we have with holding elections here at Town Hall property is we have cameras throughout the entire facility.
Oh, okay.
We have cameras that can see the senior center,
Oh,
and
great.
the cameras are monitored 24/7 by our dispatchers. And if they see any incidents or anything of concern,
Mm-hmm.
the police department will be up here in less than 30 seconds.
Okay, great.
We don't have to wait for the Board of Elections to contact us. However,
Yeah.
I have been contacted personally, as have the police department, by the Board of Elections in very timely manner. We're also very lucky to have a good friend of mine, our former Deputy Supervisor Jimmy Gersner, who is in charge of our local election here.
Right.
And he is a no-nonsense guy. And he has the chief's cell phone number, he has my cell phone number, and he comes in constantly to give us updates on the election, and making sure that everything is going smoothly. So we're in a very good position here. I can't speak for other polling sites, but at
Okay.
Town Hall in this complex, we have a very good operation, and I'm very confident that we will maintain the integrity of our election.
Okay, so in terms of the villages, are those, I mean, obviously, our police force is responsible
So
for those as
the-
well, right?
Not necessarily. The Village of
Oh.
Greenwood Lake, our town police department does have jurisdiction in every village across the town of Warwick.
Right,
However, they have their own police department.
Mm-hmm.
The elections are run by the Board of Elections.
Yes,
They're not run by the local government.
right.
So we're just a kind of a resource and a backup.
Okay.
I cannot speak for election integrity in the Village of Florida, Village of Greenwood Lake. For the Village of Warwick, our police department obviously handles
that.
operations there. But I'm confident in each of our local villages, and I would encourage you to possibly stop by the Village of Greenwood Lake board meeting and share your concerns
Okay,
with them
that's
so
a
that
good
they
idea.
can be aware of them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. Well, thank you so much, and really appreciate that, because it just makes everybody feel, more comfortable, and that's really a great
It's very
feeling.
important. It really
Yeah.
is. Great. I appreciate the observation, and thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that with us. Anyone else? This is your opportunity. Okay, great. I believe that's it. So the next meeting will be a public hearing on local law number 5, which is our battery storage local law. We have introduced a section of our website dedicated to the battery storage law, where the public can see not only a summary on this very comprehensive law, but they can also input comment that will be recorded in the public record, that will be sent directly to us. So you can go to our website, townofwarwickny.org, and you can submit public comment directly through the website on the battery storage law that we have put together. The public hearing will be held July 23rd. It is a 1 p.m. meeting. It is a daytime meeting, just pure coincidence. And the public hearing, since that is a 1 p.m. meeting, we do plan on carrying forward the public hearing to the next meeting in August, which is an evening meeting. So this law, which is a very important law to all of us in the town of Warwick, will have at least 2 public hearings. So plenty of opportunity for the public to comment, provide their input. Please review the law. We had a great committee chaired by Deputy Supervisor Russ Cole that put a lot of time and a lot of energy into this local law, and it's very important to all of us. So we really want to get a lot of public feedback on this. And the next regular meeting will happen directly after that public hearing, right here in Town Hall, July 23rd, starting around 1 p.m. And as always, this may be preceded by a workshop at least 90 minutes before, or at most, I should say, 90 minutes before the regular meeting. At this time, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you all for coming tonight.